Christian, we are back. This is episode, well, not episode, this is One Piece Manga Reviews chapter 1010, and it is time. If you've been watching us do these videos since the beginning, this is the culmination of multiple theories that me and Christian have had. I'm so excited to dive in it. We have a lot to discuss this week. Christian, my brother, how are you doing?
I'm doing excellent, man.
What a chapter. I told you before I was going to start it hype, but we are both hype. I'm so excited. We're recording this on a Saturday so y'all can get it on Sunday, official day, because we didn't want to wait till Monday because this chapter is too big. Next week is a break. So what that means is we're going to get our Alabasta part 1 review. And that is real quick. Just let me pull it up, Christian, just to tell the people what we're going to be reviewing next week. One Piece, Alabasta Saga. Because I know it's Drum Island, because we're doing it in 2 parts because it's too big to do all of Alabasta in one arc. It is okay. So we're the first video, which will be next week. It'll be Reverse Mountain, Whiskey Peak, and Little Garden. We're gonna do those 3 first, and then the next thing will be Drum Island and Alabasta all together.
Yeah.
So all right, you guys we're moving along on that, but the manga has been so good that we ain't have to do that. But we probably will make some theory videos because of this chapter. But Christian, you know how the chapters go. Did I ask you how you were doing? Just real quick.
Yeah, you did.
Okay. I'm just making sure. The hype is real. So just for anybody who's joining us for the first time, this is how our videos go. I do a quick, brief summary of just telling you what happened in the chapter, and then me and Christian dive into specific topics about the chapter, and we spend a lot of time on that. Now, real quick, let's start off this. We get a cover page of pudding, and I think that matters. We'll get to why that matters in a little bit. The chapter is titled 1010 Conqueror's Hockey, or Hashoku Hockey. So it starts off with Big Mom falling, as we all thought. Prometheus is all cut up. Zeus is trapped, and basically Kaido attacks Zoro and Law to allow Prometheus to come back, and basically Law lets him go, and we'll talk about what he says. Kid and Killer are like, don't worry about it, we're gonna go try to take care of Big Mom, and they're looking over the edge. As we see, Big Mom is this close to the sea. Prometheus comes in, grabs her, asks her a question, and then the sky starts turning black. We'll get to that later. We find out that Luffy is knocked out, because I think this is important to discuss. I don't think Luffy was beaten or down and out. We'll discuss what he is, but he's knocked out. Zoro's like, you can't strike my captain first, Kaido. You got to come for me, partner. And then Zoro unleashes the attack we've all been waiting for. Ashura and strikes Kaido. We'll talk about the strike. I'm not going to go too more on that. Kaido tells Zoro something very important. We'll talk about that. And then Law and Zoro get taken out with a Thunder Bagua. Luffy awakens, and then Luffy starts to do some stuff to Kaido. I'm not going to say any more than that because we're going to dive into it. But that's pretty much the beginning of the chapter, which without all the spoilery goodness that we're going to get into. So let's start from the beginning, Christian. I think this cover story is important because it's funny that we see Pudding crying, but the way that Big Mom treats Zeus is the way she treats Pudding, and it just shows that she has a bad way of keeping her crew in line. She doesn't care about them. It's all about her values. They're just there as people she can use. They're tools that she can use. Luffy loves his crew, their family. Roger loved his crew, their family. Whitebeard saw his crew legitimately as family. They were his sons, and Odin was his brother. Kaido, I believe, sees his crew as an army, to where he cares about them as long as they're strong. He does not use his crew like Big Mom does. So I think it was very important that Pudding was in the cover story, because I think this is a thing that's going to come back to bite Big Mom in the butt, and that'll be part of my theory that we do at the end. But what do you think about the cover art? Do you think it mattered? Am I looking too deep into it?
No. That's a very interesting take, because I didn't even catch that. But to your point, I was reflecting on Whole Cake Island, and, of course, we know that Big Mom doesn't care for her, kids who don't produce results. So
who are weak,
like Lola, who refuse to do what she tells them to do. Mm-hmm. She essentially banishes them. But if you actually go back to Whole Cake, there's a moment where Katakuri goes to protect Big Mom, And Big Mom actually slanders Katakuri, like, what are you doing? Are you trying to protect me? You're nothing but a lowly son. And it's like, okay, well, that's your top
strongest guy.
dog. Like,
and it makes sense why he was so quick to be like, fucking with Luffy.
Right. So, it's like, even your most loyal person is kind of like, well, if there's someone who could take you out,
I'm for
without, really messing with the rest of us, like someone like Luffy, I'm all for that. So, that is something to take note of. And that goes right into what we see in this chapter. So we have to give major credit to Law for being the quarterback.
Wait, let's talk. Let's get Big Mom out the way. Let's do Big Mom first. Okay, cool.
That's exactly what I'm dealing with.
Perfect.
So, Law's idea to take out Big Mom by having Kid, isolate Zeus, Zoro to occupy Prometheus was going to work.
Yep.
It absolutely, Big Mom was going to
She got beaten
and die.
Like, legitimately, they beat her. Without Kaido, she is toasted.
And without Kaido, but even then, if Law doesn't switch Zoro out, it's still possible she could have fell. And then it's like, okay, could Prometheus, who is an embodiment of flames, do anything her underwater? No. So literally, Law's plan would have destroyed Big Mom, and they were successful with it. Zoro did have enough energy in the tank after taking last attack to keep Prometheus occupied.
Yeah.
If Kaido did not decide to say, okay, I am going to try and get Lynden safe, even though I called her, an invalid.
An invalid. And I think I think that's so important, because this will go into our conversation of Kid, Killer, and Big Mom. But Big Mom, she reminds me, and I got to give credit to Joy Boy, because he was the first person I heard say this.
Mm-hmm.
She's kind of the Mori of the Yonko. Like, she is not as strong as Kaido. I think people were saying that, oh, well, Kaido was fighting with her. That's why he didn't mention her. That's why he didn't think of her in the Luffy thing. But I'm starting to think, no, he didn't think of her because she's not at that level. Like, she's she's a Yonko strong, and she's stronger than the warlords. However you feel the Yonko and admirals compare, she's right there. But I don't know if she's stronger than, let's say, Blackbeard. I don't know if she's stronger. Well, I know she's not stronger than Kaido. And from this chapter, I don't think she's stronger than Shanks.
Well, you see, okay, so if we're going to break down Big Mom, this is my perception. So Big Mom was definitely abnormal to start with. So the fact that as a kid, as an untrained fighter, she was able to, manhandle a giant, I think that to some degree, she became very comfortable, because there's not very many beings that can challenge you if you're able to toss a giant as a kid. So you take that with her absorbing Mother Carmel and the Devil Fruit. Well, her Soul Fruit is, essentially as OP as any other Devil Fruit.
It's the Api yeah.
So when you look at natural born strength that has almost no rival with a broken Devil Fruit, and she's kind of nourished to kind of think that she's superior, then yeah, to some degree, she is going to be superior. She's running with rocks, with Kaido, with Young.
She's on the talent over working thing.
There. But at some point, and Oda does this beautifully with his women. When a woman loses her, or it's not even just women.
It's people in general,
any character, when they lose their ambition, or they get lazy, or they don't stick to their essential morals, their body literally fall off. So you look at someone like Big Mom, and you look at someone like Shaki. Shaki still looks pristine, and she's presumably as old as Big Mom.
Look at Don Chinjao. Like, he felt complacent.
He felt complacent. But when you look at these people, and you look at Garp still seems to be in great shape. So, we've seen Oda's drawings of the Straw Hats. If they weren't, chasing after their goals, and they were
fall
corrupted,
off major,
and they look completely different. So Big Mom, in my opinion, is a reflection of someone who is naturally already superior. Kaido was superior, but I think he had the craving to get stronger. So he got stronger up to a certain degree.
Yeah.
Oda came in, beat him, told him, get stronger. But then that's where Kaido kind of got complacent.
Exactly. This goes back to the first thing we ever said in this video about how they represent talent instead of hard work. And yes, Kaido worked harder than Big Mom, but even Kaido, I feel, got complacent enough once, okay, he got his devil fruit, he got the ability that we're going to talk about, but I think after that, it stopped because you can tell he was more concerned about drinking and more concerned about finding a way to die in the right place. He only became wanting to get the One Piece when Luffy did everything to Doflamingo and he sees someone that, okay, maybe this kid can actually challenge. Like before then, he was very complacent because there's no way you can tell me Kaido waited all this time to get the One Piece without that. He didn't listen to Odin. He didn't prepare. He was very, very complacent in his ways, but Big Mom even more so.
Exactly. So, you know, Kaido again showcases, although we know that like he cares about Jack. When Jack was hurt, he said, you know, no, you did well. You know, the minks in their Sulong form were just really strong. So go get healed. So we know that he cares about his allies. Big Mom's not really his ally. So he kind of disses her here, which isn't really surprising, but he still doesn't let her die. He goes after Zoro. I love the back-to-back saving of the sword duo here. We've got Zoro taking the combined attack last chapter so that all the other supernova are all right. And here we have Law, who's specifically saying the plan is not worth any of us dying.
Loved it.
One of us dying. So he said, look, we could take out Big Mom and I could sacrifice, like, sure, you could probably take, you know, a club and, you know, spoiler alert,
and live.
They both take one later. But
you'd be out of the fight and it would be me by myself.
And, you know, you might even be mortally wounded. You might, you know, lose your arm like Kiku did. Like, it's not worth it. So, even though Law is not a subordinate, and you know, we still see that he does care.
He cares about the Straw Hats. They've been going for a while.
Punk Hazard. When he said, "Am I going to betray you?" A lot of people think Law is going to betray Luffy.
I do not.
I personally think he's going to walk away. At some point, he's going to be like, "Look, we've accomplished some stuff. Look,
I'm going my own way." Or he might travel to Laugh Tale just to figure out the D. I truly see Law. I see Law as Luffy's Whitebeard. I really do. I don't think it's Kid. I think it's Law.
I don't think so either.
And whether or not he leaves or he stays, I feel that they are tied together as that Whitebeard Roger for the rest of time.
Just to segue off of that, you know, we already know that Law was pretty much happy and at peace once Doflamingo was taken down.
He just found a new pathway. Yep.
Like he's living for that will, so he's trying to be happy with his crew. So I don't think that Law has a desire for the One Piece at the same level that Luffy does, where Luffy says, "Hey, I'm going to Laugh Tale." He may join just to see it and understand the D because he is curious.
I feel like that's his only. I feel like that's his. He finally achieved something of what he wants to strive for, because you're right. And funny enough, I went back and I was on IG, and you know how they post different clips of One Piece stuff. I saw him talking to Sengoku, and you're absolutely right. I think that conversation with Sengoku was the end of Law's ambition to destroy Doflamingo. But I do think this arc, he found a new ambition, not the One Piece, not to be the Pirate King, but to figure out what this Will of D means. That's the only way I can see him going, because Nico Robin's the only person that can understand it, unless Luffy goes and then him and Law have a conversation like Odin and not Odin, like Whitebeard and Roger did under the cherry blossoms. But Law would have been MVP unless it was for these other two fellows we're gonna talk about. Real quick, love the injection shot. Like, make Kaido bleed.
I love that. Curtain looks like maybe a
defense move.
The defense move reminded me of Bardo's barrier. So that was nice.
He even got called out. He was like, "Your abilities are really throwing me off, Trafalgar." Loved it. Loved it.
I loved all of it.
I love that Kaido's recognizing them now. Kid and Killer, not so much, but Law and Pirate Hunter Zoro. He called him Pirate Hunter. I know you're hype about that.
Oh yeah, I was very hyped. So, you know, Big Mom has been saved. I think we all speculate that Prometheus is, you know, telling Big Mom to give up on Zeus.
Is that what you think? Because see, I feel like, let's talk about that. Because Oda put that like in our face And he always like tries to subvert it. Do you think it's that? I feel like Prometheus may be asking Mama, let's go do something else. Maybe that's just me hoping that she leaves, but I don't know if it's gonna be to remove Zeus. I feel like that's too easy, but if that happens, I'm okay with it.
Not necessarily like remove Zeus as in like, hey, we're not gonna operate with Zeus ever again, but more like
let's make somebody new.
Hey, let's go somewhere else. Like let's go do something else. And Zeus currently is trapped, but screw it. Like
fuck him.
Like he's been holding us back. I believe Big Mom can always make another one. Yeah. So I think they're saying, like, to your point, hey, let's go do something else. To which Kid and Killer are supposed to go and fight Big Mom at this point.
Let's stay there. Do you think they can? Because let's finish up Big Mom because we got a lot to talk about in terms of Law, Luffy, and Zoro. I don't see it happening. I don't like Kid and Killer. Kid and Killer are like, yeah, we split them up. We'll handle Big Mom. They were too fast to be like, oh yeah, we're not going to fight you, Kaido, when that was their whole thing because of what Kaido did to Killer. But I think they realized they're not strong enough. What makes them think they can take on Big Mom?
Look, all right. So to deal with that, I think that goes to the point that we've been kind of discussing for a while now. Law saw it, Law already knew about Luffy's Gear 4 transformation, and we're going to talk about him, witnessing Asura later. But I really do feel like at this point, up to 1009, it has been Oda showing us Kid and Killer spectating Luffy and Zoro doing stuff, and they are like, yo, like, this is a different level.
We got to take it there.
Your point about Kaido, not Kaido, Kid arguing with Luffy about he's going to be the one to take down Kaido and all this vengeance for Killer, who's still laughing with the with the
smile fruit.
It was kind of funny how he just ran off. Okay, we're gonna handle Big Mom. Y'all got a Kaido. So that is a little disappointing in the way he went about it. But if there's gonna be a time for, I keep saying this every chapter, but if there's gonna be a time for Luffy and Kid to shine, it's when you take Luffy. Well, I said Luffy and Kid. For Kid and Killer to shine, it's when you take Luffy and Zoro out of the equation.
Yeah.
So now is finally like do or die time for Kid and Killer, as far as I'm concerned. You have to show me something. I am not sure Big Mom is going down in this arc if Kid and Killer are her, opponents. So,
but again, that goes back to our conversation we were having to start the video. If Big Mom does not have this type of hockey, this Conqueror style hockey, then maybe there's a chance. Maybe. But even then, it's like, I don't know. I would prefer if, honestly, Law leaves wherever with Roof Piece and goes to quarterback Kid and Killer. Now, if Law goes, then I think it's possible. But if it's just Kid and Killer, it ain't happening, fam.
Yeah. Okay, so this is something that we still don't know. So finally we understand, well, maybe we should save this for the...
We can save it because we're talking about Conqueror's hockey. We'll talk about it at the end.
It pertains to Conqueror's hockey. So
yeah.
For the moment, you're saying you don't have too much faith in Kid and Killer right now, and that's okay.
They could have a bloom, though. They could.
I hope so. I really hope so. So we move on. We see that Luffy is knocked out, so we were going to address that.
Do you think? I don't think he's beaten. I think this is more so. Yeah, no. I think this is literally what happens to people when Conqueror's hockey hits them.
Yeah. So that merged with something else that we saw. So earlier, a lot of people criticizing Luffy when Apu hit him, and he seemed to have been knocked out. I think that it's a combination of just being in a lot of pain and, in this case, actually being affected by some degree of Conqueror's hockey. So it's kind of like, like Luffy's eyes per se, like rolled up, but he's currently fighting to stay conscious, if that makes sense. Which
no, 100%.
Kaido is referring to the first time he hits with that Thunderball, where he's like, he's definitely not gonna fight me. Like he's in no condition to even get up.
But I still feel his will.
Spirit is still here. So I think it's like Luffy. It's kind of like that saying, like your brain will shut off if you experience too much pain, and it's kind of like Luffy refusing to like pass out, but he's in so much pain that he's in stasis in between consciousness almost. He's not really knocked out. He's just resisting currently being knocked out. Like, so it's like he's still in a tug of war of wills between his Conqueror's Haki and
Kaido's. Yeah, because to me, this is 100% like when we see anyone use Conqueror's Haki and people pass out. And I think the first time when Luffy felt the Thunder Bagua with like the Conqueror's Haki on it, it was like you said, he couldn't get up because he didn't know what this was. He just feels this absorbent amount of will and he has to recover. This time when he feels it, Luffy's, like we've been saying for weeks, he's a Saiyan. When he feels something, he recovers from it faster than the first time he does it. This time I think he realizes, oh shit, this is Conqueror's Haki. Okay. Bow. Now I'm realizing, okay, through learning Rio, because people were trying to say this is the Vance version of Rio. I think no, or this is the Vance version of Conqueror's Haki. I don't even think that. I think this through learning Rio that you can put Rio around your arm to send out an invisible punch that will affect people on the inside. I think it's, I can do the same thing with Conquerors. And that's the first form to moving past. Like, I feel like this is form 2 of Conquerors, moving past the staring at you knocked out. Now I can put Conquerors on my weapon. I don't think it's advanced quite yet. Do you think it's advanced? Because if you do it, can convince me, I'm down.
Your point just now merges with mine pretty well. So if what I'm kind of saying is, like, if Kaido imbues his club with Conqueror's Haki and Rio and somehow, injects Conqueror's Haki into Luffy, then, when you typically see Conqueror's Haki, like when Luffy, Shanks, Rayleigh, etc., use it, you usually see people like froth at the mouth because they're passed out. In this case, Luffy's on the ground because he got knocked on the ground, not because he passed out on the ground, first of all. Second of all, to your point, it's as if Kaido's Conqueror's Haki is inside of his body. So what Luffy is currently doing, more so than being knocked out, is his body is processing
the Conqueror's
fact
Haki.
that there's Conqueror's Haki, is processing it out, and he's saying, okay, that's what this is. I've felt Conqueror's Haki from an external force before, like when me and Katakuri clash, when me and Doflamingo clash. Like, I know what it feels like externally. I haven't felt it internally, and that's what he's trying to overwhelm at that moment. And I believe that's what happened the first time when he thought that his friends were murdered on Odin's castle, and that's what's happening here, which is why he's able to get back up, because his Conqueror's Haki at this point is able to expunge Kaido's and say, okay, I'm good. I can stand on my own 2 feet now.
Yep, 100%. I'm with you. All right, so where you want to go after that? Because I think that was a good job of explaining Conqueror's Haki to start with, because we're going to talk more about it later. But
so, I like kind of how Kaido is being very antagonistic, threatening to gouge his eyes
finally
out,
like a villain.
All out. It's like, okay, like you got to talk your shit, Kaido. Like,
Kaido is now MVP over Big Mom.
Yes.
Finally.
Yes. He's been menacing, but he hasn't necessarily been talking so menacingly, which goes to why there's so much hope in the raid right now, because the whole time he's been like, oh man, y'all are really good. Like, how far are your ceiling going to go? Yep. Oh man, that really hurt. Like, it's like, okay, when are you going to talk like these people
like Dofi, like again? Crocodile? Yes. Yeah, when you gonna bring that smoke, Kaido?
Right. So at this point, obviously Zoro is probably barely able to stand.
Red bar, like you're playing Tekken, any fighting game. He is like he only has like one little bit of red bar up there.
That's it. Law speculated that perhaps every bone in his body has been broken, and again, this standard has already been set with nothing happened. We know that Zoro has,
or with that big slash that like he should have died from that.
Well, yeah, the big slash, but I mean, I'm talking about like if you remember when
in Thriller Bark, the Kuma nut,
gave him just a little bit of a taste. It looked like Zoro's spine was like shattering. It looked like his bones were literally shattering. So we didn't even get to see what happened to his body as he emerged, or not emerged, but as he, went into that giant bubble. So we have no idea what kind of strains were put on his body, whether it was just, like cuts, if it was physical, like we don't know. We know it's supposed to be Luffy's pain, but we don't know if it was administered the same way. So in this case, Zoro powers through the pain. The last time Zoro used Azura, I believe, against Kaku.
Well, no, see, okay. It was Sabaody was the last time. You remember when he fought the pacifista? Yeah. But like the real official was against Kaku. Like
Sabaody is relevant. So yes, I did not mean to say that was inaccurate.
And the only reason why I said that is because a lot of people were like, oh, 5'10", 10'10".
5'10" and 10, but it is super relevant because Oda does, actually plan out his number and things like that. So 500 chapters apart is a beautiful sentiment. So that did need to be corrected. So the first time that Zoro uses Azura, I believe he mentions that he welcomes, like he walks the path of carnage and he welcomes suffering.
Yep.
So again, we see that Zoro is putting himself in front of pain, in front of whatever obstacle is in between him and his goal. At this point, he's saying, okay, I'm putting it all on the line. Law, look, I'm done after this. So
you better handle up.
Get ready, because if Luffy doesn't get back up, I'm gonna be out. It's completely on you. All right.
This attack should do something, but if it doesn't do enough, be ready. Right. Yep.
So he gets Kaido's attention, pulls out Azura, which, first of all, I used to speculate this before Conqueror's Haki was confirmed. I said, okay, it's 3 Zoros. So is this the manifestation of the 3 dimensions of Haki, like his observation Haki, his Conqueror's Haki?
That's a good theory.
Armament Hockey. And that's going to lead into, we were talking via text earlier. When we come to the end of this chapter, this kind of made me think of how I'm going to rank, those Straw Hats based on the Haki, and, kind of how you feel about that. But Zoro pulls out, the demonic 9-sword style Asura.
This time, Farce of the Dead.
Yes. Calls it Hell Hake, and I believe Kaido has a move that's called Reime Hake.
I think you're right.
So I like the parallels there once again. Again, the actual artwork is beautiful because you can literally substitute this pacifista for Kaido, and it's essentially that same panel. It just looks so raw every time Oda draws it. So it's absolutely beautiful. We see Kaido is bleeding from the mouth. He's in a lot of pain. He's screaming out. We see here Law is in complete shock at such a caliber of an attack.
From Luffy's first commander.
Not from Luffy.
Yeah.
Right.
We see the scar open up. We see Odin's scar open up and then extended to about his other shoulder. Like, so the X is like on his left rib cage, and it's an X that goes from like the line. Odin's line starts at from like right here, boom, and then right here, boom. Zoro's scar comes from boom all the way up to like right here.
Yeah. So he does what Mihawk did to him to Kaido.
Yep.
And this is one of the highest feats in One Piece thus far. On screen, that is. I mean, because this is supposedly Kaido's highest form. So this is more impressive than the Dragon Twister that cut Zoan Kaido.
That Odin did. Okay, we'll save the power scaling talk for the end.
Well, no. I said Zoro's.
Oh, Zoro's. Okay.
So when Zoro cut Kaido in his dragon form using the Dragon Twister, you could tell that it's like, okay, that was you cut him and it was nice, but that didn't leave like a permanent scar.
This is a real cut.
This is a higher cut on a higher form of Kaido.
True. Okay.
Now, power scaling, that's tough.
Let's wait till the end because I'm gonna ask you. I got 5 people to ask for Zoro and 5 to ask for Luffy. So we'll save that for the end.
All right. So Kaido now finally confirms that Zoro does in fact have Conqueror's Haki. which is beautiful. So many people have been speculating this, so many hints in the anime and in the manga.
He should have it. Rayleigh has it. Like, to me, I look at the Straw Hats and I compare them always to Roger's crew. Yeah. Luffy has to be as strong as Roger, if not stronger. Zoro has to be as strong as Rayleigh, if not stronger. We don't know much about Gaban, but I think Sanji has to be the Gaban of the crew. But since Rayleigh has conquerors, Zoro has to have conquerors. Like, I saw people upset about it on Twitter, and I'm like, if they're going to be better than the Pirate King's crew, then Zoro has to be equal to, if not better than Rayleigh.
Yeah. And I mean, the thing about that is I don't really understand how people can be upset when there's actual evidence of it. Like, sure, you could, like, if Oda were to say, yes, Zoro doesn't have it, then everyone can say, like, oh, well, then all of those, evidences were just killer intent or really strong intimidation. And then you would take that impression. But when he says, okay, yes, he does, then you say, okay, well, there was plenty of evidence leading up to it. It's not out of the clear blue here.
Yep.
And this leads into something that I actually found pretty hilarious, because I can't tell super clearly. It does look like Zoro's kind of frowning, but when I first looked at it, it almost looked like Zoro was smiling at Kaido. Like, he's like, oh, I don't know what you're talking about. Not like he literally doesn't know what he's talking about, but almost like he's being coy. He's like, oh, do I have Conqueror's Haki? Like,
see, I can't tell. It kind of looks like a smile, but then it kind of looks like, oh, bro, I'm tired.
No. It looks like he's tired, but it's like the way that the blood is drawn, it almost looks like his
he's smirking
mouth
at him.
Curled up, but it's not. But this reminds me of the first time when we thought that Zoro had Conqueror's Haki on Onigashima right after he assaulted Queen. And Brooke said, was that you using Conqueror's Haki? And Zoro was like, I don't know what you're talking about. That obviously wasn't me. So it was like you have Zoro almost like deflect twice. And that's why I'm like, okay, like, Oda, you're definitely playing with us here, because you revealed it, but like the way that you revealed it is the same way that you revealed it every single time. Like, is it? Is it?
Low-key, Zoro is like when Zoro is using Conquerors, kind of how when Luffy was using it at Marineford, like those couple of times where it's like, I don't know what I'm doing, but it's popping. And I love how Oda's being coy with it. Unlike Luffy, where it took Luffy a while to like master it, I think it'll take Zoro less time because he understands Haki.
Right. And that's what I'm going to get into later when I get into the Haki ratings, because that's going to break down some technicalities here. But we see, essentially Zoro saying, I wish it would have done more damage. And definitely is like, okay, I'm out. Like, that pose is like, I'm tired. I'm taking a nap. Wake me up in a few minutes. Like, a few minutes. I don't know. But
a couple hours,
he's out. He's out for a little
and Kaido was like, it'll leave a scar, brother. You did enough. Like, when Kaido acknowledges you, that's how you know. And let me give Oda credit, because Kaido finally looks badass in that shot. When you see his face and he's like, it'll leave a scar, like super badass.
Yeah. I mean, it's funny because, again, it kind of brings out this jokingly suicidal notion of Kaido. He's like, yeah, I got a new scar. Like, look how close I came to death again. Yeah.
He's ready.
Like, I haven't had one since Odin. Like, nobody, like, he seems proud. He's like, yes,
it's time.
Another one.
Yeah.
So I was very pleased about that. You can even see the little lines of him shaking a little bit, the same as Zoro, if you really look. So he's in pain.
Yeah, he is.
And he's like, shit, bruh.
Y'all are the worst. I hate this generation.
Y'all, golly.
And then Law tries to get him out, and Kaido's like, nah, dog, you're not doing nothing. And I think this confirmed Thunderbog was a speed blitz, because it moved,
without a doubt.
It moved faster than Law's teleportation.
Without a doubt. I mean, the first time, the animation kind of didn't do it justice in the anime because it kind of extended it. But the manga, you got to remember, Luffy did not see anything. Like, Kaido was on his ass immediately. In the anime, Luffy kind of saw it but could do nothing about it. So it was like he was already set in motion and Kaido just smacked him. So without a doubt, Thunder Bagua is a speed blitz, which also goes back to, some arguments about Future Sight is not a win-all because, you know, Luffy still got tagged earlier, even though he had future sight. Now he not neglected, but he was able to dodge the majority of, you know, that impact because of future sight and his own ridiculous speed. But he still partially got tagged. So here, you know, Law's in no position to get out of there. Zoro,
neither of them have future sight, so it's like they're screwed.
They're hit. So that looks very, very painful.
And I love Kaido right after all of that's like, what a pity. If you'd have joined me, if I'd have had all of y'all, we could have taken over the world. Well, no shit, Kaido. Yeah. These dudes are like strong as I'm not gonna say as strong as you, but they're close. Like y'all would have easily beat everybody.
Yeah. And if you look specifically at that panel where Zoro's laying on the ground, the hockey drip from Kaido's club is just as massive as Whitebeard's and Rogers from that infamous panel.
And when he struck Luffy with Ragnarok. Yep. Right.
So we definitely know Kaido is a monster along that caliber. So again, I say this every week since you asked. Well, we're still not there. We're gonna wait. We're gonna wait a few more minutes. We're still not there. I'm getting ahead of myself. So yes, Kaido is very pleased with what he's gone up against thus far, and at this point, he probably thinks he's won.
Yep. Zoro was the MVP until this point. I gotta be honest with you because you told me you're pro Zoro this chapter. I'm pro Luffy.
I'm pro Zoro, but Jesus Christ.
What an attack. Kaido, like honestly, Kaido is pushing for MVP, but just the boys did too much.
I mean, what Luffy's about to do is...
And we get a silhouette of Luffy. Basically, Kaido's like, y'all could have joined me. And Luffy hits him with join you. Like any of us would team up with an idiot like you. The samurai are our friends. And then boom, we get Luffy silhouetted in blood, looking just like Zoro with the Daz Bones picture you sent me. Bones, yep. And it's reminiscent of Nothing Happened as well.
Yep.
And then he starts thinking of, this is reminiscent to the Katakuri fight, where he starts thinking of Rayleigh. Now he's thinking of Goro talking about putting the hockey on the outside. And that's why I said it's not really advanced Cockers. It's just more of Luffy understanding, okay, if I can do this with armament and I've mastered advanced armament, I should be able to do this with Conquerors. And then through the punch that Kaido does, he realizes, oh shit, that's what's happening.
Yeah.
And then boom, he's like, all the attacks I tried are still not in. The first time I took a blow to your club, I finally get what happened. Conquerors hockey, you use it to code himself. And Kaido's like, haha, yes, you realize, yes, now the fight can truly begin.
Yeah, so you made a very good point that, you know, Rio in and of itself is not, you know, advanced armament hockey. It is an application of armament hockey by using, you know, the residual hockey around your aura or around your body. So if you can do that with Conqueror's hockey, then you can achieve, you know, this higher ability or this higher, you know, power set. So that's a very good point there. You know, every time the MC gets a flashback, and this is, I believe, Luffy's second Hero Goro
training
flashback.
One, yeah.
So
he's leveled up. This is a hockey bloom. This is another one. And then I want to believe that Kaido did Thunder Bagua that second time. Like, I think this was the birth of a speed blitz, and we see Luffy legitimately dodge it, which tells me his future sight has bloomed, and now his armament has bloomed, and his conquerors bloomed, because we see base form Luffy. I've been asking you this for weeks, Christian. If Luffy's gonna fight Kaido, will he do the Roger Whitebeard punch? Will he do it? Will he do it? He did it. Yeah. He starts it with his foot. We see hockey dripping off his foot. The club's not touching. He then pushes off of it, flips, and then bounces on a rock and does a speed blitz of his own and hits him with a punch, an official punch. Hockey drifting off his hand, strikes Kaido in the scar. Kaido's hurting like a bitch. And then he does another one, a straight uppercut to Kaido's chin. Definitely hurts him. Kaido falls for the first time. A legitimate knockout. Well, not knockout, a legitimate takedown. And then Law's like, wait, what is he doing? Law is like Odin when Whitebeard and Roger fought. And he's like, how can this happen? And Luffy is so confident in how he's grown. He hits him with Zoro, Traffy. Thanks for covering me. You guys head back down. Leave the rest to me. I'll beat him no matter what. tell everyone I finally got this.
Right.
Nuts. Is Luffy about to break the narrator's thing of 1v1? Take Kaido?
All right.
Let's talk about it. Now we can fully talk.
All right. So here's the thing. I'm preface this with I am perfectly fine with Luffy breaking that moniker of, one-on-one bet on Kaido and soloing Kaido, as, One Piece is the story of Luffy. But, I have to say, I literally laughed my ass off as someone who supported Zoro's killing Kaido.
ZKK!
When Luffy said, go downstairs, I'm taking care of it, like I was drinking some water and I was like, this is hilarious. Like on the surface, I was like, oh shit, like is that done? Is that
I don't think so.
Luffy and then I said, okay, hold on, wait a minute.
I'm gonna tell you my real thoughts after you. Yeah.
We don't have a tragedy, man. Like, and I reread the manga chapter over and over and over again, and I'm reading this last line, tell everyone I've got this. And it's like this confidence is about to get broken.
I'm telling you, the tragedy is gonna be that the thing actually falls. That's what
I'm with you, but this is what I'm saying. So here's the thing. I'm still, I love Luffy almost as much as I love Zoro. So I'm still going down on this Zoro boat. I'm not giving up. So here's my thing. All right, man. So Luffy's had some hero flashbacks. Zoro has not had one Mihawk flashback, not one cultural flashback.
Where's it at?
Shimosuke is his father. I know, like, where, okay, so
let me help you. Because this is what I think is going to happen. Zoro and Law go down. Sanji starts fighting King. Whoever fights Queen. But I think a combination of either Law and Chopper or Marco and Law. No, actually scratch it. Marco's going to fight Queen. I'm 100% behind Chopper because this is Chopper's feet. Zoro is his boy. There's the connection to them. I think Law and Chopper heal Zoro, and then Zoro goes straight back up to finish the fight with Luffy and Kaido. Yeah, and at that point, I think he'll have his let me not say mastered, but he'll understand, oh shit, I have it now. I got to put some on my blade.
Right. And that's kind of that's actually exactly what I was going to say. But, a lot of things that were amusing to me is that, like I said, I am perfectly fine if Zoro does not kill Kaido and Luffy, does this, because I do understand, that is the nature of One Piece. But I also love how Oda decided to come here because, we know that Oda is aware of what his fans desire. And we know that Zoro killing Kaido is a fan theory that has a lot of supporters behind it. So argumentatively, he did the best thing to explain Zoro not being a part of this. He said, look, man, I gave y'all this dude doing everything on screen.
He beat every supernova except Law and Kid.
Right. Like, and that's what we were saying earlier. It was like, okay, so Whole Cake Island, there was no Zoro. So Oda had to make up for that. So he said, okay, I'm going to literally jam pack feat after feat after feat in this arc. All these supernovas, he is taming Enma, he's doing all these, ridiculous
things. Arguably the strongest scabbard in Denjiro.
Right. With two swords, and, the anime elaborates on it. We see that Denjiro is actually pressed at that moment. We get into Roof Piece. Marco literally says, like, you don't belong
down here. Yep. And arguably Zoro's the strongest one that's not Luffy. Like, exactly. As much as I love Law was more of a support character to Zoro and Luffy. Like, Kid and Killer, they were just the extra people in your Skyrim brigade that are just throwing punches that the damage will add up at the end, but they're not the main two.
Right. So, with that being said, and him blocking, Ocean's Conquest, which is arguably one of the strongest, if not the strongest move
in the series
on screen in One Piece, it's like, okay, I can buy that Zoro needs to, recover, and he can't continue fighting right now, especially if I can buy that, when Zoro says, I put everything into that, and then you think about Luffy, I put everything into Gear 4, I need 10 minutes. So if nothing else, if Zoro was physically fine, I would expect him to still need 10 minutes for his hockey to come back. I expect his hockey to be ran out at this point, and him to be physically hurt. So if Marco can spare some blue flame that might have some kind of healing effect at some point, if Chopper can have some kind of bandaging and medicine that allows him to block out his pain.
If Law can go in and oppie and sew up his bones.
Yeah. If Law can fix him up, if the two mink doctors who are helping Chopper, they're still there.
Tristan and whoever the else the other person is.
Yeah. So in my opinion, there's still plot lines that need to be resolved. And I think about it, there's no way Law and Zoro are going below and not coming back up to the top, because it's like they're too important to the narrative to be below. And also
they're too much
wise, they're comfortably above the commanders.
Yeah.
And still kind of below the Yonko. So it's like you put him below. Law in his current state is beating King, and that's not entertaining for us anymore.
Exactly. Funny enough, I think they go back after the Kaido flashback, because I think this is how I think it's gonna go. Yeah. I think we get next chapter. I think we have to go down. I think we start the going down, but the next time we go back up, I think we're gonna see Luffy versus Kaido. Yeah. And then I think through that, Luffy's going to be beating him. And then I think we get a Kaido flashback. Post Kaido flashback, Luffy starts to get his ass whooped. And then that's when Law and Zoro come in if Luffy needs 10 minutes to recover. And then all three of them take on Kaido at the same time. And then I think during that, when Law and Law and Zoro come back, I think that's when we'll start to see some of the Mihawk training. And then Luffy comes up, and then all three of them attack at once. Kaido is down. Now, whether that happens once everything is crashed, I think that could affect Luffy getting Gear 5.
Yes, I agree with all of that. Like, even for me, I've said this plenty of times before. I'm like, when I say Zoro killing Kaido, I don't know about death in One Piece that much. So, I don't know if Kaido's going to literally be murdered, but defeating him, as long as the world government is aware that,
they got to be aware that Kaido's down so they can come get him. If not, Zoro has to cut him to kill him.
That's what I'm saying.
Luffy's going to knock him out, and then it's Zoro's job to finish the job.
The One Piece opening does show, the skeletal structure of Kaido's head being severed. So, but anyways, with that being said, there's other things that can also occur here that is interesting. So we go back to the theory about Orochi, and I feel like Orochi at this point is just a cockroach that needs to get, squashed by everyone on that list. And so ironically, for all the people who've been saying, oh, Zoro's going to have to face off with Orochi, I'm saying this might be, into fan fiction territory. But if Hiyori is there, I could see a moment where if Zoro's getting healed by Chopper or Marco and he runs into Hiyori because of, his intuition and him knowing Hiyori's in danger, what if they together run into Orochi
and Zoro, take him out?
Like Zoro hands Enma to Hiyori. Now, I don't know. I'm not saying Hiyori can actually handle Enma. Okay,
or hands of the Wado. I think that would be beautiful if he did the Wado
or something where he's like, you remember when you said you wanted to, kill Orochi,
two sword style, Odin style. Hiyori pulls it off, kills Orochi. Right. I fuck with that. That's a great theory.
So and that's kind of wild, but that's my way of saying Hiyori and Zoro, who even though for me I could care less about Zoro killing Orochi, he's already expressed a venomous dislike of Orochi. So if in some symbolic way he can hand, Hiyori the Wado and she cuts Orochi down, then I'm like, that's very satisfying for me. So ironically, you still get that if Zoro goes down below.
And if Law goes, you might get Nami getting Zeus. Even though, bro, I'm anti Nami getting Zeus. Not because I don't want her to see her strong. I'm just like, okay, what happens when Big Mom goes away? Like Big Mom can take, I feel like Big Mom can take that away at any point. And if she takes away her soul, it's just a cloud.
Well, from what context though? Because Big Mom can't do that from infinite range. Otherwise, she would take back Zeus at any given moment. So to some extent, there has to be some level where she no longer has complete control. And if I'm not mistaken, weakness of Big Mom's soul fruit is that the beings apparently can't really differentiate between souls, because if you remember correctly, Zeus was actually like debating between obeying Nami and Big Mom when Big Mom was present, solely because of Big Mom's soul in the Beaver card. Where he was like, well, I know you're the real thing and this is some pirate chick, but I'm still compelled to obey her. So if Big Mom is separated, especially if any kind of plot line involves her making a new Zeus, we already know that she could care less about her children. So she could care less about a useless piece of her soul that decided to serve Nami. So there's ways to write that. But to your point, my thing is, again, I want to see all the Straw Hats grow. To me, Nami getting Zeus, she's already had it, so I'm already comfortable with her having it. But Nami and Usopp defeating Ulti in page 1, I say this every review, is, I think, the best time for Oda to be creative, more so than power scaling, because Usopp and Nami are nowhere near the power of Zoan, Kaido, Devil Fruit.
I really want Nami to get get Monet's fruit, because Monet's dead, and like the closest tree was Nami's Meekin on the Sunny. If there's any time to pull out another Straw Hat getting the Devil Fruit, it's got to be Nami. I know that's headcanon. I know I've seen many people say that, but like, I just don't like not us thinking, okay, Nami gets Zeus, now it's better, because like you said, that's happened before, and it's not really her own power. I want Nami to have something that's her own, that she can call her power.
Well, you see, that's the thing though. So like, I feel you on that, and I always want the Straw Hats to have their own power. So in a lot of ways that I always have opposed things like the Raid Suit or Emma being perhaps power-ups more than tools for Sanji and Zoro to utilize, you can kind of see how Zeus is just automatically just a power-up, because she does have all these lightning techniques, but they're powered by her own artificial mannerisms of creating lightning. Zeus, as we saw with Big Mom using Indra, can literally turn into a literal catastrophic level thundercloud and cause Enel level attacks. And it doesn't seem to drain Hockey or anything else.
It doesn't do anything to the person.
Nami. So that's automatically just Yonko level ability right then and there. So I'm with you on that. It's like, if Nami gets a Devil Fruit, I'm not opposed to that either, although I would be, kind of sad.
I don't think she has to be the one that has to swim. As much as...
Oh, you're saying like if something else absorbs the Devil Fruit?
No, I'm saying Nami, but I'm saying if she gets it, I don't think she has to be one of those crews that has to swim.
Oh, no. I'm talking about fan service.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah. No more bikini Nami. Well, she'll be tan, and we'll get tan. Robin still does it.
Yeah. I'm just saying.
No, so, I feel you.
I do love the Monet theory. I've read that as well. Monet did remind me of just essentially a green Nami. But to the point about Zeus, the one way that it does work for Nami is the cat burglar. So the fact that she stole that ability,
true.
It still does work for her.
Her narrative,
I would prefer a more natural way for her to, evolve. Like when she showed her ability against Khalifa to use mirages.
Exactly.
And then, okay, this is a more creative way of using my intellect rather than having literally a god tier thundercloud. But I'm still with it. Then there's also the other parallels, like as long as Nami has Zeus, you've got the embodiment of Sun Wukong perfectly embodied because you have Luffy in the thundercloud. He could also ride Zeus because he's immune to thunder. So then, Nami has the staff and the thundercloud. Luffy is the other half of Sun Wukong.
Them together.
So you have that stereotypical, Goku on the Nimbus Cloud type symbolic nature. So I like it for that reason. My meat-headed, I want all the Straw Hats to, find their own strength, doesn't like it for that reason. But it does seem a lot like Zeus is possibly going to be delivered to Nami like an Amazon delivery.
Yeah.
So.
Now let's do our MVP rankings of this chapter.
Yeah.
Then we're going to do your hockey rankings, and then we'll do power scaling, theories, and then get up out of here. So MVP for me, this is how I rank it. Luffy 1, Zoro 2, Kaido 3, Law 4. Although Law could be 3, but I just think Kaido did so much this chapter to where you can't put Law above him.
Yeah, I mean, for me, Law got him with the injection shot, and then he impressed me with his barrier.
With the curtain,
And then, of course, I like the fact that he saved Zoro and said, like, nothing's worth any one of us dying.
The emotional impact.
There. But, Kaido's still more of an MVP, in my opinion, in that case. So I have the same exact ratings for MVP at this point.
All right, cool.
So, when I get into the hockey ratings, now that we know, I'm looking at the text now. When I look at the original monster trio of the Straw Hats, which, debatably could change with Yamato and Jinbei, right now, we don't know that Sanji has Conqueror's Hockey. We haven't seen any definitive
I don't think he does.
Towards that. So I think it's safe to say he does not have it. So I had, and these are somewhat arbitrary numbers, but I'm going to try to explain it. So Luffy, is an 8 in Armament Hockey. I don't think he's like Katakuri level with advanced Armament Hockey, but he's definitely solid with that. Rio involved with that, you can kind of bump that up to like.
That's why I was thinking you do like a 9 because he does have Rio and not everybody can do it.
Yeah. So. Yeah.
But I think 8's solid though.
Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to say like it's really high, but it's not as high as Zoro's.
Yeah.
Zoro's proficiency is Armament Hockey. So I put it at 8 kind of for that reason, but with his constant evolution with Rio, he's really pushing like 9 and getting closer to a 10. So his observation hockey in and of itself is an 8 in my opinion. It's very high, but because he can hit future sight at any given point, he can flex a 10. So I say that it's 8, but at any given point he can, flex 10.
That's what I was about to say. Because I was thinking if you did it overall, I would have had a 9. But I like your it's base 10. But when he really focuses, it's base 8. When he really focuses, it's a 10. I like that. And then Conquers, of course.
And then Conquers, that's his proficiency. We've seen it throughout the entire chapter. 500,000 fishmen. Fishmen are supposed to be, I think, 4 times stronger than a normal human.
Yep, so, something like
that. Knocking out 500,000 fishmen in Fishman Island when
a lot.
Your Conqueror's Hockey is not even that developed is arguably the greatest Conqueror's Hockey feat that we've seen in the arc, with the exception being Shanks actually cracking Whitebeard's ship with his Conqueror's Hockey. And most likely knocking out people who are much higher caliber than any of the 500,000.
Yep.
So those are the two.
I like your Luffy ratings.
Yeah.
I don't know if I agree with one part of your Zoro rankings.
Okay, and then that's fair. So the Armament Hockey, I said it was a 10 because that's his proficiency.
I'm with you.
He's had Rio since Alabasta.
Just like Conqueror is Luffy's proficiency. I'm with you.
Right. Observation Hockey, I'm not saying he's weak at it.
But I get the 6. I understand
I don't really feel like he's anything super special.
I think you could even put 5, like 5 being like, okay, he's baseline observation. Anything over is where you start to get to Sanji Luffy territory. That's why I'm not mad at 6.
Right. And then Conquerors,
this is what I disagree with.
Right.
Yeah.
I definitely wank Zoro a little bit here. Because I think even though he's been flexing Conqueror's Hockey, I don't think he has a mastery of it at all. I think Mihawk probably acknowledged the fact that he had it, but he was like, I'm going to focus more on your armament hockey.
Yep.
So I'm saying that like the 8 is more of like his potential.
Okay.
But right now, to be
he's at
honest,
like a 5.
He's like, I was gonna say a 4.
Okay, I was being nice with the 5.
And the reason I say that is because I made a post. It was actually, my most viral post on Twitter.
It was controversial too. People were upset.
It was controversial. I put something in there, and I still stand by it. I want to see what the translation changes to Sunday. But my take on that is that when Zoro cut Kaido with Asura,
you said he showed Luffy. Yeah, I know.
Yeah. What I meant by that is not that, he did the same thing or Luffy did the same thing that Zoro did, because Zoro's Asura obviously was touching Kaido. Luffy did not even need to make contact. But I'm saying that for Zoro to use Conqueror's Hockey, Armament Hockey, and Rio all in the same attack, as he said, I put everything into that attack. He doesn't necessarily know, okay, this is, the best way to attack Kaido. This is how I achieve this highest level of impact or whatever. But he put it all together. And so then what I'm saying is, okay, timing-wise, Luffy's had Rio from Udon. Okay, he's been proficient at Conqueror's Hockey. He's been proficient at Armament Hockey. So, and he's been hit by multiple Thunder Bakugas. So why does he all of a sudden get it right after Zoro uses Asura? Now, of course, people are saying, things like, oh, he was passed out, he didn't see that. But I mean, that's splitting hairs in my opinion.
I agree with you, and then I disagree with you. I think Zoro plays a part in it. I think it's like, I put it as like 1/3 the initial Thunder Bagua.
Yeah.
2/3 of the Ragnarok, and then I know this doesn't add up, but then another in the final third is Zoro. So I think it's a combination of him feeling everything and knowing. But I definitely think Zoro played a part. I don't know if it's as much as you think, but I definitely think it's a part.
Like I said, I am a Zoro fan, so I am always going to slightly like edge Zoro. I am very aware that in reality, Luffy is a 10, Zoro is like a 9, at most 9.5. But I am going to always push Zoro and Luffy are both 10, and Zoro can hit an 11 because Zoro said nothing happened to all the Luffy pain. So whatever. But in reality, I was definitely pushing Zoro because I feel like if Luffy's a 10 at Conqueror's Hockey, then Zoro's potential is probably going to be an 8. He's never going to be as much of a conqueror as Luffy is. And then Sanji, I have his armament at 6.
Well, let's finish that real quick because I do agree with you what you said. I like the 8 being potential. I think right now is what you said, a 4. Just so people clarify, like we don't think Zoro's conquerors is at an 8 yet.
We have scenes of him intimidating people, but until he literally
does it,
and Monet's impressive. Like Monet's feat is up there with any feat because that is a mind hack.
She couldn't move. Yeah, that was the start of it.
And she was so scared, like the fear, like when Tashigi talked about, it was like just the literal fear that he left. I've never felt that from other like everyone else, it seems like they just like pass out. But like Monet, it felt like she was scarred for life from that. I mean, her short life after that, but she was scarred from that moment.
No, I agree. And that's why I'm thinking like that was the start of it. So I got Zoro at a 4, high potential. I'm with you as an 8. Now give us your Sanjis.
And then Sanji, like again, this is not in any way meant as slander.
No,
I put a 6. Just because 6 is the lowest I've gave for anyone on any category.
I think at the end of this arc, it'll be up to an 8 because I think with the raid suit and then Diablo Jambi, I think he'll finally figure that out, mixing with his armament. That's why I think it'll be at an 8. But just like with you, with Zoro, how Zoro's conquerors can never pass the 8. I think Sanji's armament will never pass an 8.
Yeah, and I base that highly off of again. The comparison of Sanji versus Virgo and Zoro versus Pika. So both Virgo and Pika have the same position in Virgo and Doflamingo's hierarchy. Sanji did not lose to Virgo. He even kicked Virgo and caused Virgo to bleed. But we saw that Sanji's leg was literally like broken. And Virgo was perfectly fine, which tells us Virgo specializes in armament hockey. He's one of the few people we've seen who use full body armament hockey, and he is very proud of that. So that made a very strong distinguishment. Again, Oda has straight up said, you know, Luffy not prioritizes, but is most proficient at conquerors. Zoro's most proficient at armament. Sanji is most proficient at observation. Doesn't mean that they're low in any other category. It just means that that's where they are highest.
That's their talents.
And so when I saw that in the Virgo fight, I said, okay, that's Oda saying that Sanji's armament hockey might be a little bit weaker than Luffy's and Zoro's at this point. So now Diable Jambe, in the heat of that, you know, I don't know how that plays into armament hockey because the flame pattern kind of resembles armament hockey.
It has
before
to do
even
something.
Luffy showed it.
Yeah.
So I have a feeling it has something to do with.
And he always says it was his emotion and hockey's will. Like I think that was.
Will,
yeah. I think that was just him doing hockey before hockey.
Right. And so from that perspective, I said that his armament hockey would be a 6. And his observation hockey would be an 8. Now,
I defer with that. I think it's a 9. I think because Sanji's the proficient one.
Now, here's the thing. The only reason why I put 8, because I would put 9 because of the proficiency, is because I haven't seen anything where he's flexing something above average. Like, again, a lot of people go to the jelly bean thing.
That's what I was thinking.
Remember, Pudding didn't shoot her gun. The preacher didn't shoot his gun. The only person who shot anything was Katakuri. So what I'm saying is, if we actually look at that relatively, are we saying, like, first of all, do you remember the scene when Luffy first came back to Sabaody and he dodged 2 laser beams from the pacifist?
One of my favorite scenes in One Piece. Yeah, I love that whole montage.
So
I get where you're going with this.
Are we saying that Katakuri can fling a jelly bean faster than light?
Now, I want to ask you, does all of Sanji's flying with Luffy and dodging everything, does that not take in consideration with all the kids throwing stuff at him, and then how he went really fast, attacked Oven, and then like...
I'm going to get to that. I'm going to get to that, because that's the one where I always go to with the Oven one. That's my favorite Sanji feat.
I tied that with him flying, and then when he has Luffy in his arms and he's flying away, and all his brothers come in and how he's dodging everything. I think that has to be taken in consideration as well.
Yeah. I mean, he definitely has observation hockey, but I'm saying like a high level of observation hockey. But I'm saying like when people talk about the Katakuri feat, I'm saying like, okay, well, we've seen faster feats, and we know that Luffy, Zoro, and Sanji could all dodge that laser beam. So are we saying that the jelly beam out is a higher feat than the light speed? No. And there's only one. So it's like, well, we know Sanji can dodge a bullet, so that's really all he did. So if we go to Oven, I don't know how that is necessarily a flex on
observation
so much as his speed. And this is me just saying that people are reading into this in order to slander Sanji. But this is hilarious to me. People downplay that feat, which is my favorite Sanji feat, by saying that, well, Oven's the same guy who saw, Captain Capone shoot a cannonball at him, and he still got speed blitzed by a cannonball. Like, he saw it coming, and he still got hit in the head by it. So it's like, well, how good is his, like, observation or ability to pay attention if he can't even, like, dodge a cannonball? And so, like, that, jokingly kind of put a crack in my, like, okay, well, how fast was that Sanji? But, anyways, the dodging scene where he's holding on to Luffy, it's up there.
It's multiple.
I don't want to get it showed a 9 yet. Like, I feel like at this point I'm giving Sanji observation credit off of, just Oda's word more. But and it's also hard because Luffy has future sight. So it's like,
and that's why how you do with Zoro's 8 conquers, that's why I'm saying 9. Like, he will be a 9 at some point.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Like right now he's an 8, but his potential is 9. Won't eclipse a 10 because I don't think he'll get future sight.
But like, just real quick on that, this is something that I'm so confused with. It's like, what is in between Observation Hockey and Future Sight? Like Future Sight is just the best.
True. That's
Observation
true.
Hockey. So it's like, well, he's not gonna like set something faster than Zoro, but slower than Luffy.
He might get Future Sight then. He might have to. Just like where Luffy sees 4 to 5 seconds, Sanji sees 1 to 2.
It could be that, you know. We could, I hope it's not this, but it could be gag related where he has Future Sight, but it's only pertaining to like.
I pray it's not that. I pray it's
like
not
I really hope it's not, but like when Odin, like in the anime, when they showed like the effect of Odin realizing that Toki was in danger, I was like, how specific of like hockey is that? And I'm like, is Sanji gonna do that? Like Sanji already does that though. Like Sanji
exactly.
Across dress,
and he knew about Black Maria.
Black Maria, like all of this. So it's like, okay, he already has.
That's why I'm putting him at a 9.
Like, yeah, I don't know.
Let's just leave Sanji alone until we see him fight, because like we don't know. We got to see him fight King. Yeah.
Get him into a fight.
Well, Roof Piece is about to take a break, so you know we gonna find out what's up with Sanji in a little bit. Now, let me ask you the power scaling, because I think this is important. Let's start with Zoro.
Yes.
Is Zoro stronger right now than Cracker?
Yes.
Okay, I'm starting off light. Is Zoro stronger right now than Jesus Burgess?
I'm saying yes. But I feel like there's something deceptive about Jesus Burgess because he looks pathetic to me. But his role states that he should be higher than that.
He's the second commander of Blackbeard's crew behind Shiryu. So.
But he gets his ass whipped all the time. So it's like, I feel like there's something going on.
I do
But
too.
as of right now, yeah, I got Zoro over Burgess.
Is Zoro stronger than Cat?
Katakuri?
Yeah. Okay, all right. Is Zoro stronger than Odin? That's my last one.
No.
Okay.
Like I will say easily, with the Katakuri thing, Zoro is above any commander at this point.
Marco too.
Outside of Marco, Luffy, and Zoro, I have on the same tier right now.
Gotcha.
They are in between Yonko and Yonko Commander.
I think Odin has to be at that tier as well.
Odin has to be at that tier as well, but within that tier, like if you're looking at like typical tier maker format, if you look at it also as like from left to right, the more you're over to the left, the higher you are, Odin still got a gap over Zoro for one reason, and it's what I've already said. Odin was throwing out blows like Zoro was without wheezing. And he's been doing it for, supposedly years. So until I see Zoro do what he's doing right now,
constantly,
then obviously he cut Kaido in a higher form than Odin did, while literally with no health. So we can only imagine what he would have done at full power
at the beginning of the fight.
But he'd still be wheezing. Like we know after flying Dragon Blades, he was wheezing. Odin would not have wheezed after if Zoro taught him flying Dragon Blades and he used the exact same level of caliber. I don't believe Odin would have been wheezing afterwards. He would have been like, "Wow, that was a powerful, attack." So that is the only way. I think that Zoro has the attack potency to fight against Odin, and I believe he has the physical endurance to fight against Odin. But I don't believe he has like the hockey reservoirs to fight against Odin.
That may change after this arc. We'll have this conversation again after this arc, because I think
the hockey bloom is what it is.
Yeah,
but that I think it's a matter of hockey. Like Odin has more hockey, but he and Zoro both have the same attack potency.
Gotcha. All right, let's move to Luffy. So you said you have him at. I think Luffy's stronger than all first commanders. Let me just keep it a beam right now.
Easy.
All right.
Easy.
So, and I think Marco, because Marco could be seen at Yonko level, but I have Luffy over Marco as well.
Yeah.
Okay. Fujitora.
No, not over Fujitora in my opinion. Not yet.
Is Luffy at any admiral level? Let's just start there.
I'll put it like this: no one is low diffing Luffy. I don't care who you are. No one is low diffing Luffy at this point anymore.
Let me be honest. I think Luffy is at Admiral level. I think he is stronger than Fuji and Green Bull, even though we don't know what Green Bull can do. I don't think he's as strong as Kizaru and Akainu yet.
All right, so that's what I'm saying. So in this case, what I'm talking about is matchup. So in certain cases, like I don't believe Luffy would have beat Daz Bones and Alabasta, but not because he wasn't as strong as Zoro.
Just because the movesets are
the same way that nobody was beating Enel but Luffy.
Gotcha.
So in this point, I don't think that Luffy can handle Fujitori's moveset per se, more so than is he stronger. Like,
okay, I'm just talking about stronger right now, but I get what you're saying.
Oh, no. Well, I'm not even just talking about that. I mean, like, if you're talking about like who would win in a battle, like I still have Fuji over Luffy only because of the caliber of Fuji's moveset.
Gotcha.
Like,
I'm not sure if Luffy can destroy that big ass meteor coming while Fuji's still swinging.
Like he can, but can he destroy multiple of those meteors while Fujitora is fighting him? Like, does Luffy have something that can do that? And I think about like, okay, well, Mihawk made Fujitora's meteor look like it was nothing. Like that was a no-name casual sword slash. So he's beating Fujitora in my opinion.
Yeah.
Luffy has to like throw either one of those punches he threw at Kaido or a Kong gun.
And that's what I was about to say. We haven't seen Conqueror's Hockey Roger with Gear 4 yet. So that's the only reason why, because I'm thinking if he's Gear 4, he can do a Gatling and not even a Kong gun, just a Gatling. And then with the Rio and the Conquerors, and that shit's exploded. Like that's the only reason. And I think each hand can take out one meteor. Maybe that's just my fucked up headcanon. But that's where I'm at.
Like we're definitely getting there. Like I'm talking about like right now. Like if we're talking like post Wano and Luffy like has adapted, then yes, your scenario of like Luffy punching and like each punch has enough impact to destroy
take out a meteor.
Yes, and we've seen derivatives of this. Akainu has a meteor punch where he throws punches and they literally become meteor size and have meteor impact. So to say that Luffy would be able to throw, a punch and just like, let's say the Rio air smash itself would destroy, one of these comments, I'm for that. But as of right now,
you don't think he's there yet. I think that's fair.
And I don't see how Fujitora is blocking any of these Rio blasts that Luffy's throwing, but I don't see Luffy overcoming like a shower of meteors right now. Now, of course, Snake Man, is different, but I don't know if Luffy even knows how to, like, he's figuring it out right now.
Yeah.
So if he were to go Snake Man or Gear 4 right now,
I don't know if he could do it. Yeah, true.
Up. So he's taking it slow. He's figuring it out in base. And then we're going to be able to see, okay, what happens when Luffy decides to say, okay, well, Gear 4, and I'm still using this technique.
All right. Because I think Luffy right now is Admiral level. Like now, legit.
So then another way that I kind of compare, are people ready for things? I substitute them for other characters. So I say, okay, Kizaru at Saba Odi when he's about to step on Zoro and kill him. Do you think Kizaru has improved drastically since that moment?
I think Luffy could do what Rayleigh did, 100%.
That's where I'm going. But do you think Kizaru has grown drastically stronger since
then?
Saba
No.
Odi? No, because
dude's just chilling.
He's been at the pinnacle.
Yeah.
So exactly. At this point, I'm saying, okay, Luffy can speed blitz just like Rayleigh,
and kick his leg out the way.
Skywalk, literally, because the anime made it look like Rayleigh was like flying like right above the ground. Stopping the blow, Luffy's got that. Can he counter a light blade? Absolutely. So I have Luffy doing what Rayleigh did on Saba Odi. So Kizaru and Akainu, I have them reserved as premium. Like they're like
Shanks to me
Admiral
right now.
Plus.
Yeah,
they're Admiral Plus in my opinion. So Kizaru and Akainu, they might still edge out on him. I'm kind of with you. Like Luffy can figure it out. With post Wano, he can probably beat Fujitora.
Because if he beats real shit, if he beats Kaido 1v1, I think Luffy got everybody at that point.
Oh yeah, if he beats Kaido 1-on-1, I mean, if he beats Kaido 1-on-1, he's Yonko level. That's it.
The only person I see has him is Blackbeard, but because Blackbeard has specific circumstances to where Luffy might not be able to use Gear 4 while he's doing the Yami Yami no Mi. But I think base level Luffy will be ready with his hockey to take out Marshall D. Teach.
That and Law's thing made Blackbeard, beatable. If Luffy's hockey is strong enough, then Law could not use room.
So he shouldn't be able to use Yami Yami. No, you're right.
Luffy should be able to resist it. He could use it, but Luffy should
still be able to do Gear 4 and do all his punches and everything 100%. All right. That's all I had, really. Christian, you got anything? What do you think's happening next chapter? Do we leave the roof? Do we stay on the roof?
We got to leave the roof. There's no way. There's I said this already, and it would have proved me wrong, but there's no way he's giving us more
after this
Roger Whitebeard clashes. Like, at this point, all he has to do is split the sky.
Yeah.
And that's all we're waiting
I think that's coming. I think that'll be the next time we see him. We'll see a collide punch and the sky splits. And I think that'll be confirmed Luffy's Yonko level at that point.
Right.
So give us, if you had to pick a fight we go to when we get back under the roof or a person we go to, give me two so we can give you two chances to be right. And then I'll give you two that are different.
For my hopes, it's Sanji #1 meeting up with someone, that being Queen or King. I really don't want it to be anyone else.
Same.
Or again, for my hopes, Jinbei over Robin.
Okay.
I still want to see, from those two. I had to rank Jinbei over Robin right now because.
No, I'm with you.
We haven't seen anything of Jinbei in a while, so
I'm going #1, which I think is most likely because, like last time we left Roof Piece, we went to a weaker character and then got some Sanji stuff. Yeah. I think since we got Chopper, I think it's Ulti, Nami, and Tama. That's my #1. And #2, I'm with you on Jinbei. I think because we haven't seen anything from Jinbei, I think Jinbei has to be next.
Yeah.
So, all right, let's see if we're right. We've been right so far. This was a great episode, Christian. Tell the people they can find you on social media.
Yep. Instagram and Twitter is going to be Art Season, ARCHSZN, or Design Season LLC on both platforms for my art.
If y'all need any art, y'all hit up Christian and he will hook y'all up. Bring your Fetty and he will hook y'all up because my mans don't work for free. He makes great art, though. As you can see with his background, the thumbnail for this, we've put some of him drawing the thumbnail video throughout this. Y'all make sure y'all hit up Christian. Y'all can follow me at LynBWT. Follow the Bros Who Think at Bros Who Think. Be sure to check out all the content on the website and on the YouTube. New Bros Who Think pod out on Monday. A new show out on Tuesday called Never Less Than Ill with the best hip-hop journalist out of Louisiana. He worked at XXL. He worked at Hip Hop DX. He was the editor at Hip Hop DX. Dude is and from Baton Rouge, the biggest hip-hop journalist that's come out of Louisiana. Justin Ivey partnered with us, the Bros Who Think Network, to put out his podcast, Never Less Than Ill. It's the first guest is Andreas Hell, and they're going to be breaking down and talking about the rap group Little Brother. So be on the lookout for that. Thursday, a new Bros Who Binge. We're starting a new list, the top 25 actresses. We're talking more Invincible, more Falcon Winter Soldier, and all of that. But you, like I said, subscribe to the YouTube. You can find that. Also, link in the description for the Discord. Come join the family. We're talking about, if y'all want to talk about One Piece with us, literally Wednesday nights when the spoilers drop, the Discord looks like an FBI redacted file with all the spoiler alerts. And then throughout the week until Sunday, when we drop the review, we're discussing, and then people listen to the review and then they discuss what we think. I promise y'all should come to the Discord. Shout out to Tyler. Shout out to Pharaoh. Shout out to Jazz. Shout out to Verson. Shout out to the One Piece homies. Those are the 4 major One Piece homies in the Discord who are caught up. Shout out to them. Y'all come join the family. But Until next time, like I said, no chapter next week. We're on break. So that means me and Christian will be starting our Alabasta review part 1. Be on the lookout for that. Or we may do a theory, depending on how me and Christian feel during the week. But more than likely, as of now, it's going to be Alabasta part 1. So until then, we'll talk to you soon. Peace.
Peace.